Welcome to Almost Functional Gaming. We aim to help all followers of Russ and the Allfather to improve on the tabletop. List building, tournament recaps, unit reviews, weekly council of the Fang, and other tips to help us all go from almost functional to fully functional. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also, check out our merch store and Almost Functional score tracker on Amazon.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Almost Functional 40K, here with our weekly Council of the Fang.
Hey,
once
everyone.
again, with Aiden.
Happy Tuesday. Happy to be talking about Wolves. We got some cool news this week. Yeah, man. How you doing, Matt?
I've been better if we got that news last week, because
Yes.
now I am stuck taking old Wolves to ATC because I missed the cutoff by a week, but
Bummer.
that's all right. 3 more weeks, and then they're going to be legal at everything, and so I don't have to play Index anymore.
Yeah. Although, quote, my last TTS game, oh, wow, man, I'm not going to play you until the actual points are out. These Codex points are too good. I'm like, hey, man, I'm playing with the MFM points, so.
Hey, yeah, we're glad you made it.
What's up? Is it D-Warham or Dwarham? Anyway, good to see you. Glad you made it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to do kind of like we did last week. We're going to be building some lists for new wolves in the new detachments. Last week we did my take on First Company, your take on Firestorm, and then you guys chose Vanguard for us to do as the third. Tonight, the first one we're going to do is Bold, which is my choice, which is what I've been enjoying the most running with the new wolves. So we'll go ahead and bring this up. Oh, let me close this so I can see. There we go.
Yeah, last week we had some really unique lists, so I'm actually excited to see. Again, we could build 3 lists here, and they'll be completely different from what we built last week. So I'm really happy to see some build diversity.
Yeah, because we didn't want to jump right into the thing everybody was running first, but now we're kind of running out of good detachments to build. So
yeah, now we're into the really good stuff. So tell me about Bold. What's rules are we looking at? Or you want me to read them?
Yeah, if you want, while I'm setting this up, if you got it there, there's a political.
Yeah. So Saga of the Bold. Once again, these are all space with detachments. So you have an army rule. If you complete a saga during the game, your army rule gets better. So your army rule is you can reroll 1 hit, wound, or damage roll for a Space Wolf character unit. If you complete the saga, you can reroll 1 hit, wound, and damage for every unit all the time, which is amazing. Every time you activate, you can reroll 1 hit, wound, and damage. Really good on high value, high damage stuff. The saga is you have to do 3 of the 4 following by Space Wolf character units. 1, that Space Wolf character unit has to destroy Oath of the Moment target. 2, that Space Wolf character destroys your Oath of the Moment target, and that is the second Oath of the Moment target destroyed by the unit this battle. 3, at the end of either player's turn, that Space Wolf character unit is wholly within your opponent's deployment zone. 4, from the second battle round onward, at the end of your command phase, that unit is within range of objective marker that you control, not within your opponent's deployment zone. So again, these all have to be Space Wolf characters. They have to hold objectives, kill the Oath again, be in your opponent's DZ.
Yeah, and they can be done by different units except for the kill the second one. That has to be 1 unit has to kill 2 Oath targets.
Exactly. And I'm curious, is if you destroy an attached unit, aka a bodyguard unit and a character unit in the same turn, does that count as both of those oaths?
Yes, but it can't be the same activation.
It can't be in the same activation.
Okay. You have to kill the bodyguard, and if after that unit finished activating, the character is still alive, then it becomes its own unit.
Right. Yep. Because that's some kind of point of discussion. Let me get to the enhancements. Some pretty great enhancements. You get +2 on a Space Wolf unit model, +2 strength if you achieve a boast, +1 damage. +1 damage is amazing.
Yep.
Adept Astartes model, each time a Space Wolf character completes a boast while this bearer is on the battlefield, you gain a CP. So this is budget Bjorn. I think this is amazing. Mm-hmm. Horde Slayer, if there are more enemy models than friendly models within 6 inches at the start of the fight phase, +2 attacks. If you complete a boast, +3 attacks. And then finally, the best enhancement in the book, stand back up on a 2-up with 3 wounds. At the end of the phase for any Adept Astartes model. So that's kind of amazing.
Yes.
Strats. we've got amazing strats too. Fight phase, Adept Astartes character unit, 1 CP, lethal hits. Great. Lethal hits is amazing. Allow strength 5. 1 CP Space Wolf character in the shooting or fight phase, character unit, reroll hit rolls. So this is shooting, reroll hits, or fight reroll hits. Great, because we lost access to Army-wide Oath. 1 CP, a head taker model or Wolfguard Terminator model. Wolfguard head taker or Wolfguard Terminator pack leader. In your command phase, they get the character keywords they can use to help get boasts or get OC to Wolfen or Wolves. 1 CP Adept Astartes character in your charge phase, you can advance and charge. Amazing. We love advance and charge. 2 CP. -1 damage in the shooting phase for a Space Wolf character unit. That also is absolutely incredible. Changes the math on Terminators and head takers and everything. Just is so good. 2 CP counter charge, also amazing. End of your opponent's charge phase. You get to declare a charge on a unit within 6 for an Adept Astartes character unit, even if they didn't charge. So that is so powerful on move blocking, objective taking, just all around. It gives you a second heroic option. Wow. So tell me about how this detachment plays on the battlefield, like how you go about building a list for this.
Yeah, so basically those last 3 stratagems are the reason I play this detachment. The advance and charge, the -1 damage on the Terminators specifically, also head takers depending on what's hitting them, and the counter charge. I've played this probably about 8-9 games. I've only got the counter charge like 2 or 3 times.
Still,
but knowing I have it
exactly
is really, really, it stops people from moving onto objectives, stops people moving near me. It just gives you space, which with slow Terminators used to be a problem, but with +1 move and built-in advance and a strat for advance and charge, it's really not a downside in this detachment. So I just find people just trying to play around that really, really helps.
Exactly. This detachment feels like the most CP hungry detachment that we have. This Saga CP hungry detachment.
So so you have the enhancement to possibly gain from people doing boast, which makes you almost think, oh, maybe I shouldn't take Bjorn. But you've got 2 really good 2 CP strats.
Yes.
So if you miss out 2 or 3 turns of getting that, complete 2 boasts on the same turn, well, now you can only get 1. Like, I just find you still want to take Bjorn in this and just not even worry about that attachment, just to make sure you get those CP early so you have those strats available.
Yeah, and gosh, I have to say 5 of these 6 stratagems are amazing. So yeah, you really want that CP. So do you include Bjorn? Is this a list where you think Bjorn is necessary?
Yes, just because if those strats, if it didn't have the 2 CP strats, I would almost risk not taking him and take Skjold, the enhancement to gain CP. But because it is really CP intensive.
So CP intensive.
Yeah, because if you don't have 2 CP, your opponent doesn't have to worry about you doing those strats. So just knowing you have them force you to play around it.
Yep.
And then I also take Logan. I take Arjac.
Ooh.
And I know a lot of people are not taking him with their head takers and stuff. I'm taking Ragnar.
Wow. Okay, so hell of a cool suite of characters.
Yes.
Bjorn's pretty obvious. You need CP. Yep. Logan is just amazing in any list. He just locks down a flank with his Terminators.
Yep.
Tell me about Arjac and Ragnar.
Well, Arjac's our only other option to lead Terminators.
Right.
And with Logan's ability to deep strike turn 1, now I can rapid ingress Arjac's squad turn 2 and just really put 2 Terminator squads up where they can put pressure on you.
Right.
So Arjac, he is anti-monster, anti-vehicle, 3 up. He gets full rerolls into characters, I believe. And then what I also like, he gives the Terminator squad fight on death on 4 up.
Yeah, that's quite powerful.
Yeah, so if you get into one of those fight first squads, they do have to worry about you getting some hits back.
Yeah, and he does quite a bit of damage into most.
Oh, he does by himself. Yeah, absolutely.
What I'm realizing with playing the Terminators is they are way more durable than regular Terminators.
Well, yeah, in this detachment, now you have possibility to neg 1 damage in the shooting phase.
Yep.
You're -1 to wound anything tougher than you.
Yep.
And you have the potential to fight on death with Arjac, which is really, really...
So nasty.
Yeah. So some of my original list, I was running 2 head takers and 1 Terminator, just Logan's squad. But I've been enjoying running 1 head taker and 2 Termies recently. And then Ragnar is just an automatic unit that advances and charges.
Don't have to spend the strat. You already want to spend the strats elsewhere.
Right. So now I can advance and charge with him and one of the Terminator squads on the same turn if I need to.
Okay.
Which I find is really, really useful for the way I like to play. So I know there's a lot of talk for taking the battle leader to give them the reroll 1s and sustained, and get enhancements into there, or the wolf priest to heal them, give them +1 to wound. They're all great, but without that advance and charge, I just find they get their turn later. And I just like to put that pressure on people just with the way I'm enjoying. I find I like to play.
Yeah, and speaking of head takers, if your detachment does not have access to +1 to wound, you need a way to do more damage with the squad, either through Wolf Priest for +1 to wound or through Ragnar. Ragnar himself is a beat stick. I think
Ragnar and in this detachment, there's a strat for lethal and a strat so they can have basically reroll hits if they choose not to go into the oath target.
Quite amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, they're still only strength 5, but with lethal and a reroll potential, or just send them in the oath target, so you don't have to spend 1 CP. That really helps with that a little bit.
Okay. What other characters are you taking?
All right. So, once again, apologies. This list forge isn't designed to be used on the computer, so it's a little bit of a pain. So I am running 2 Iron Priests.
Amazing. S tier units. They should make our army shoot.
Yep. And so they're a real core of what we do.
You know what I realized about the Iron Priests, though? They already reroll wounds, and so they get to reroll 1 hit roll and all wounds.
And this detachment, absolutely.
That's actually quite good for the Iron Priests. They like that. And they also, when they shoot there, they have a pretty decent shooting weapon. It's like 6-3-3, 1 shot, hitting on 2. So rerolling 1 hit wound and that's also really good.
Yeah, and I've played around with it if you have the points left on the enhancements, given one of them the extra attacks, the +2 attacks. So now they're going in at 6 attacks with the rerolls to wound, still hitting on 4s, but you get to reroll one of those.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so infantry, we're going to just put in the squads we already talked about. I'll put in the Wolf Guard, Terminators, and Blade Guard. Or Wolf Guard Head Takers and Terminators. Terminators running the way you and I always both like, 1 Relic Axe, everybody else Hammer, Shield.
Yep.
I'm not going to worry about going in here and switching them, but that's the way I like to run them. And then we also, something I pretty much put in every list, we're going to find our Infiltrators, just to help guard our backfield.
Yep.
And the Scout Squad.
Yep. Always good mission play, good locking down the backfield. Yep. The Head Takers, are they going to be a 3-man or a 6-man with Ragnar?
Oh, no, they need to be a 6-man. I need to update that. Yep. All right, so Head Takers, definitely a 6-man. Oops. Yeah, and I run with the shield, not the double weapons, just because I find with the double weapons, they normally overkill and they just don't survive. I like to have them be able to soak up some of the shooting.
Yeah, shields, I think, when you run them with Ragnar, is the way to go. Ragnar does most of the damage, and they just need to protect Ragnar.
Yeah, and if you go 6-mans, I think shield is the way to go, because now you're building a big unit. If you want to run a grenade squad, you roll a 3-man with paired. I could see doing some of that. Stick 2 of them in Impulsor, throw them both at something different. I could see some play there.
Speaking of grenades, Ragnar is one of our only units with grenades.
Yes, that's another nice thing about him is, he can join the Head Takers, and now they can throw grenades. If
I'm not mistaken, Wolf Priest nor the Wolf Guard Battle Leader have grenades. Wolf Priest does not.
Yeah, I think we looked at that the other day in the spatial check. Yeah, no. And neither do Head Takers. Yeah, so that gives them access to that, although he's normally advancing and charging. He can't do that in any grade, so he has access to it, but normally he's not allowed to do it. And then I do give Ragnar's unit the Impulsor with the Shield Dome.
Man, because the defense, the extra movement out of the transport, that's such a big threat range.
Oh, it is. And you can push them up, keep them safe for a turn. And then once they're out, a lot of times it's a great little action monkey, objective holder, do a free tank shock on not a free tank shock, but a little cheeky tank shock on something. That's fine. If the Impulsor lives past the first turn or two, it really, really is useful for mission play. And if it doesn't, then it's gotten Ragnar normally into a good position to start threatening stuff.
Yeah.
So it's worth it even when it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So vehicles, no playing around here. We're just going to take 2. We'll take 1 Lancer and 2 Predator Annihilators.
Ooh, tell me about these in this detachment. Do these benefit from this detachment at all?
Once the Saga is up, yes. So Predators already reroll all damage into monsters and vehicles.
Yes.
But now once your Saga is active, they'll get to reroll 1 hit and 1 wound on top of that.
And all damage. And
well,
Lancers.
And the Lancers reroll 1 hit, 1 wound, and 1 damage naturally. So once you get the Saga active, they have 2 or 3 shots with their big gun, depending on whether or not you rapid fire them or the Predator, rerolling 2 hits, 2 wounds, 2 damage. It just makes them super, super efficient.
Wow, that is incredible. I cannot imagine a Lancer rerolling 2 hits, 2 wounds, and 2 damages with rapid fire. Jeez.
Yes. Yeah, it gets a little crazy. All right, and so that leaves us at 1775, so 225 points. I do like to throw in 1 unit of Thunderwolves here.
Yep, great skirmish.
I know a lot of people likes more than that, but in this list, I like running just 1. Yeah, they're great skirmish units. They're tough. They can really, at 3 damage, run in and threaten something kind of big if they push it middle early. But it's just harder to kill than most people's screens. 12-inch move. It can't advance and charge or that because you can't put characters in it, so it really doesn't benefit from a lot of the strats. But I don't find they really need it.
Yeah, and here's the thing: this detachment is built around Space Wolf characters, so it makes sense that you're taking a lot of them. Now, here's a question that I have: Are you taking the lone op lieutenant that stands back up?
Yes, that's the other thing I was just looking at. I haven't been running him. I played him in a game or 2, and he just kept not dying. I'm like, I'm wasting 30 points on him. So it's like, but.
Did he do much for you in that game that he didn't die? Your opponent just kind of ignored him?
Yeah, pretty much. So what do we have in here? Impulsor, Thunderwolves. Oh, yeah. All right, so, but he is really good. He should be in here.
He is amazing. I mean, you can draw out so many resources from the opponent, or he can score you primary if your opponent doesn't know how to play around him.
Yeah, I hate the way this app works on the computer. All right, so Lieutenant and Combi-weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. All right, let's get back to him. And then we will give him Thunderwolf's Fortitude. Did that go up to 30 points, I thought?
I think it was 30 in the book and it went down to 25, but let me check that.
All right, because I thought it might have been the other way.
Yeah, I think it is. I believe it is 25.
All right.
Yeah, it was 30 in the book and it went down to 25 from the MFM.
All right, so that leaves us only 30 points, which is hard to do anything with.
Yep. You could upgrade the scouts to a second infiltrator. You could throw an enhancement on some Iron Priests.
Yeah, I hate to do it. I think we drop the infiltrators. Add an Intercessor Squad.
Yep, Intercessor is definitely a good way holding your backfield.
And that should leave us 50 points. So we take 6 Head Taker Wolves.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Huge bases, great for screening out, good for doing actions.
Really I was going to say, they help with, you lose the infiltrators, but you can use the Intercessor sticky in them. So basically between the two, you kind of get kind of the same effect. But now, a lot of times what I like to do when I have something else like the Wolves back there to hold the backfield, I keep Bjorn near them to OC them. Once Ragnar leaves the Impulsor, if it's still alive, jump the Intercessors in it.
Yes, that actually is a really good call.
Now they can shoot out of it. They can get places. They can help try to maybe sticky something else later in the game. Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead and look at this. How do we do it? Why aren't you letting me do that?
And man, these wolves these character units are hard to deal with, man. -1 damage, -1 to wound. on
Oh,
the
yeah.
There's 2-up save, like so much to chew through. You got the Vectora, you got Bjorn,
Yep.
Ragnar in the Impulsor, just really beefy units.
Yeah. So basically, we have 3 chunky combat units.
Mm-hmm.
Logan can deep strike middle of the board, turn 1 to a safe spot. Arjac
Yep.
can rapid ingress, turn 2, and Ragnar's in the Impulsor and can advance and charge out of it. So I really can, especially since you don't know where Logan or Arjac are coming in, I can really threaten any side of the table, and you have to really try to play for it.
Yeah, definitely. Curious, bold. This is one thing we'll talk about with the Saga detachments. You have advance and charge, which is really great, but you don't have access to fallback and charge. Do you find that's kind of a detriment in this list?
I haven't, because normally they do a decent job of killing what they hit and trying to tie stuff up. And normally people, if you don't kill them, don't want to stay in another round of combat with them. They fall back from you.
Yeah, your units hit pretty damn hard. Ragnar, Arjac.
Yeah, and
Logan
those Terminators are hard to kill. Normally they want to shoot you with like all their tanks and stuff to kind of fall back. And I guess if somebody was smart, they could try to charge you after with like a hard to kill vehicle or something. But with Arjac in the squad or Logan in the squad, there's no guarantee they don't actually pick up that vehicle.
Right, totally.
So people, normally don't want to come back into you, especially on the fight on death Arjac squad. And then they can't use any strats to help them while they're fighting you because Logan's right there. So I haven't found it, but if if they had a matchup where they could get something into me that they were willing to throw away that could survive and hold you up for a turn, that could be a detriment in this list.
Yeah. But again, you just have so much beef. You have really good shooting.
Yeah, well, any spatial flips, once you add those iron priests in, it's going to be good shooting.
Yes. Kind of amazing.
Yes. And then now you got the Combi Lieutenant with his little BS on top of intercessors and scouts. You got a squad of dogs for like running around doing mission stuff, possibly an impulsor for it. I've really enjoyed the way this style of list has played for me.
It does. Me too, man. I would have to play bold because it'd be a little different, but it seems like an anvil. You're so durable.
Yeah.
You have so many good strats. You can play around with the opponent. You can turn on the damage with reroll hits, lethals, advance and charge.
Yeah, and with the deep strikes, it's really, really nice because you're not really like if you deploy a Terminator unit, someone can deploy on the opposite side of the board of you. Like now, when Logan comes in, you know where they're at, and they may or may not even have had a first one turn already. Which I actually prefer it that way. When they go first, then Logan comes in on my turn, and then on their turn, Arjac immediately comes in. Like, because if I have to drop in on my first turn before they move, and then I have to wait till their second turn, so basically the fourth player turn, before Arjac can rapid ingress, because I don't like to just deep strike him normal. I like the rapid ingress, so like I can position him out of there. But I find a lot of times I can put Logan's squad or Arjac squad in a building, safely hidden, but within range, where if anybody wants to come on and try to take it, I have the threat to charge out of it on their turn.
Which is so powerful. One of the big problems with the Terminators is the OC problem. They're only one OC each. So someone can stick a 5-man Intercessor Squad, and contest the objective.
Yeah, and then if they're like, well, we're not going to move on the objective, we're going to try to stay back from you. Well, now the Terminators can advance and charge out of there for 1 CP.
Or if they stay back and try to shoot you, you can just -1 damage and just tank a good amount of stuff.
Well, yeah, because I normally try to drop Arjac squad on like a flank or somewhere hidden where they're not getting most of their shooting on him. So like even if they can, it's not till later game, and that's when that -1 damage can come into play.
Yeah, and Arjac having anti-monster vehicle 3+ with 3 damage is also really powerful.
Oh yeah, especially because you're normally oathed or giving him the reroll, so he's hitting like 5 times out of it, and it's like just it can get pretty brutal. But yeah, so that's what I've been having fun with. I can't wait till I start taking to events to see if it performs there as well as it has been for me at my test games. Because so far I've only lost 2 games with it. The first game I ever played with the new Wolves, which was also my first game ever into the new World Eaters, and I didn't realize all the mortals that they could do to infantry now, world eaters.
Oh, wow.
So I let him get a charge into the Terminators thinking I could tank it. And then he's like, oh, I'm doing mortal wounds. I was like, oh, well, this sucks. There's no mortal wound protection anymore. And
Yeah.
so I lost the Terminator squad basically for nothing just because I positioned them wrong, not knowing he could do that. And that game was pretty much over there. And the other game was the game I lost to the double Wraith Necron build by 1 point when he scored 6 or 9 challenger points to my 0 challenger points.
Yeah, challenger can be a little rough pulling away. Dakota's saying also Arjac has rerolls into characters. Yeah, and he also does he have built-in precision?
Yes.
So that's kind of scary. He's gonna hand you 5 3-damage saves on any character.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And he can throw his hammer at you.
And he throws hammer, which is really cool.
And it's
Are you going to build him throwing the hammer? Or are you going to build him holding it?
Probably. We'll see. My old one where he had it back behind him, it always snapped off. So like, I want to build it up front, but I'm like, I don't want to keep having to try to re-glue it and then finally lose it like happened to my old Arjac. So I might build it closer to the chest.
Oh, yeah. Dakota's saying Arjac bodies Primarchs because they're characters and monsters. Yep. So he's wounding them on 3s, hitting on 2s, wounding on 3s, full reroll. So he's going to hand them like 5 3-damage saves and they're going to fail. You know, he's going to do like 6 to 9 damage to a Primarch by himself. That's kind of crazy.
Yep. Yeah. Demon princes, avatars. There's all sorts of stuff that has either the monster or character and vehicle keyword. There's
High Tyrants. Yeah.
Silent King. Like, yeah, there's lots of stuff. He just goes in and go, oh, you have both keywords? Get wrecked.
Sometimes I wish you could switch leading. Like, I wish Arjac could lead head takers because that'd be so cool because they'd all have precision. Also, I wish a Wolf Priest could lead Wolfguard Terminators because that would be so sick, giving him +1 to wound and healing a Terminator. Oh my gosh. Yep.
Well, yeah, I wish lots of our stuff could lead other stuff. Other stuff could lead. Yes. Yeah, like that's the biggest, I think, gripe anybody has about the new rules is the restrictions on characters interacting with units.
Yeah.
Good to see Dakota in here. Dakota, he kills it with wolves most of the time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I always see his name on standings and stuff all over the place.
That's so cool, man. I'm glad to have you on the show.
Yeah. So now we can't pretend like we know what we're doing because we're real experts in the chat.
We're Space Wolf experts with quotes,
yes,
air quotes.
No, that just gives credence to how smart we are about wolves if he listens to us, right? Right.
That's right.
Think of it that way.
That's right.
All right. Well, that's it for my bold list. We're gonna now go back and do a list for Aiden. You're going to do your least favorite detachment ever, right?
My least favorite, yeah. I'll do Champions of Fenris, actually. No, I'm kidding. No. You could remove that. I'll read the detachment roll while you get it set up. But my favorite detachment, I was playing it before and I'm playing it now, is Stormlance. I love mounted units. Stormlance gives some really cool options to your army. I think it synergizes really well with the new codex. Everything that you want to take in Stormlance got better. So it's quite powerful. Stormlance, the rule is every unit in your army, Astartes unit, can advance and charge and fall back and charge, which is so powerful. Marines in general don't really have good melee except for specialist Marines. And even then, it's very limited. Like you think of Blood Angels in Stormlance, you really have like 2 or 3 units that really want to be in this unit. But with Space Wolves, our melee is so powerful. Our general datasheet melee is just so powerful. And you give all of them advance and charge and fall back and charge, it means that they're going to keep activating into you until you're dead or the Space Wolves are dead. And let me tell you, with the amount of durability that we have, it makes for a really mean army list. So you have a couple enhancements. 2 of them go on mounted. One is a mounted unit, which is the only mounted character we can take is a chaplain on bike. Still decent. You can still take Outriders. They're still decent. I played with them for a long time. I find that they kind of get outshined by Thunderwolves even without a character. But anyway, +1 AP and strength, or if you charge +2 AP and strength on mounted. You're not taking mounted. You're not taking the Outriders unless you want to. Again, they're okay. The other one is come in on turn 1 with a mounted unit. Could be interesting if you pair this with coming on turn 1 with Logan's a Space Wolf unit. Could be interesting if you take an Outrider brick plus a Thunderwolf cavalry brick, bring them both in on turn 1. But again, I think Thunderwolf just outshine Outriders in almost every way. The other ones are reroll advance for a unit, so only okay, and then fall back and shoot. You're not really going to take this unless you take a really specialist shooting infantry unit, and those don't really exist. Maybe Stern Guard, but the strats also are amazing. Armor of Contempt. I think Armor of Contempt is actually a lot better than you think it is for Space Wolves, because you're thinking Armor of Contempt, you really only have 3-up, 4-up saves, 4-up invulns. The one unit that it is amazing on that I think goes in every list is Logan and 5 Terminators. Logan and 5 Terminators with Armor of Contempt become an absolute brick house to shift. It's almost like it's a little worse than -1 damage, but it's only 1 CP. So, yeah, Armor of Contempt is amazing in that. Giving a unit assault or sustained hits if it already has assault is really good. People are like, oh, how far do your predators move? 10 inches. Okay, I'll be exactly on this angle so you can't shoot me because you only move 10. When you say, oh, I can give them assault, it's like, oh, I can actually go 16 inches and shoot you. Actually is a really good movement and damage strat. Full throttle, 2 CP, auto 9-inch advance on mounted, or auto 6 advance on a vehicle. Again, you can auto 6 advance a vehicle to get on the corner. If you really are drowning in CP, you could give it assault, or you can move Thunderwolves 21 inches. I did this in my last game with them. I moved them 21 inches, basically halfway across the board to charge something. They were in my backfield edge. They charged something in midfield line, and they just killed something, tied something else up. It is so amazing because Thunderwolves got +2 move. Shock Assault. For a mounted unit in your charge phase, you get to reroll charges in Lance. I think this is really good, although I think Thunderwolves are no longer your damage of the list. They kind of do a good amount of everything, but they're not the only damage. This is good. One of the best, actually the best defensive strat that we have access to, 1 CP for a mounted or a fly vehicle, -1 hit and wound and shooting for the whole phase. Thunderwolves are already really durable per point. You take them in every detachment, but now that a 3-man for 1 CP can be -1 hit and wound, your opponent has to commit way too much to actually kill them. And then finally, again, amazing strat, reactive move for infantry or mounted of flat 6. So, yeah, I mean, I think this strat suite is up there with Bold. It's up there with Gladius as like one of the top 3 best strat suites that we have.
Yep. Yeah, it's a shame they're so restricted to like just mounted and stuff for a lot of it, but even so, Thunderwolves are still good at for us. It's not as restrictive as it is for other Marine armies.
Yeah, 3 of them are restricted to mounted, although 2 of those 3 can be used on some vehicles. Good news is our mounted are really good.
Yes.
Mounted, I think our mounted are the best mounted in the game. Yeah, I would say that our mounted are the best mounted in the game. I'm trying to think of any other mounted that like would be similar things. So obviously we're going to take Thunderwolves.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and start out with the juice of the list. I think you could build a very fine list doing max Thunderwolves, but let's switch it up. I think I wanted a little bit more take all comers. Thunderwolves are still a little vulnerable to being move blocked. You can't necessarily get them where they want, but we're going to do a big 6-man, big brick, 220 points, 6-man Thunderwolf cavalry. And then we're going to take at least 1 3-man to skirmish. We'll see later on if we want to take two 3-man. But like I said, the 3-man is durable enough. They're 100 points. You can throw them away, go charge a scout squad, and you'll be totally fine with it. Then your opponent has to commit real things to kill 12 wounds with a T6 with a 3-up, 4-up. That can be -1 hidden wound or a reactive move. It just is such an annoying problem to present to your opponent really early on. And the 6-man, again, is just such a beef of a unit for amazing points. They could do serious damage. They could take up space. They could go touch so many things. They can move 21 inches and charge, which is crazy. So So other core of the list, we're going to take in Logan and 5 Terminators.
Yep. I think you'll see that in most Space Wolf lists.
I can see an argument for just Logan sometimes if you want to take other stuff, maybe if you're leaning more into head takers. But because you have access to Armor of Contempt, Wolfguard Terminators get so much more annoying to deal with when they have Armor of Contempt. It's almost like, say somebody's attacking you with AP2, it's a melee attack. You've got a 4-up save. If you Armor of Contempt, you almost like increase your durability by 50% with just one stratagem. And you already have Vet, and you already are T5, and you already are 2-up save, and you already are -1 to wound. So it takes a ridiculous amount of wounds to come through to do that, to deal with that squad.
Yeah, that's why I like him in the 5-man, because you can push him middle table when it's really time to go. And he's going to be there 2 to 3 turns before they can really finish him off. Just on an 80mm base, just really shutting down their strats on about half or more of the table.
It's so good. And with the always advanced charge, always flack and charge, reactive move, he becomes such a bastard to deal with. I've had opponents just like give up because they were trying to kill Logan that couldn't. And then also, they're not going to do a lot of damage. They will do okay damage, but the fact is they're going to last around a lot longer than their opponent. You can keep falling back and shooting and then charging. So speaking of which, we want some shooting in this list. We have really good shooting. Let's go ahead and take 2 Iron Priests.
Yes.
This is going to pair really well with Stormlance because you'll find that Stormlance has a lot of movement and a lot of durability. So if you can add in damage on top of that, you can kind of just throw all of your durable, just really brawler units into the middle, and you can just sit back and shoot at your opponent and then fall back and charge every turn. It really just grinds down the opponent. So 2 Iron Priests, I think you auto take 2 Predators are amazing. Predator Annihilators are if you get within 24 inches, they're the best shooting damage we have into almost everything.
Once again, I want to apologize to all the Space Marine players for the point increase for Predator Annihilators.
Absolutely. So here's an interesting choice. I think that you could run and be top tier competitive a Storm Raven in Stormlance.
Is that under regular vehicles? Or
I think it's under vehicles.
I'm not sure if they had a flyer on this app or not.
So I ran a Storm Raven in my most recent game, and I'm going to try out a lot more games with it because it actually did a lot of work, and it made my opponent sweat so much and gave them a headache. A Storm Raven does okay damage, and it's okay durable. It's like a Land Raider, -1 damage, but it loses a couple wounds, it loses a couple toughness, it loses a save. But it moves 20 inches. So that is a huge threat to your opponent. It can get angles you wouldn't normally expect. It can change positions on the board. It's got good transport capacity. But you give it a rapid fire, and then all of a sudden it shoots good. It's shooting like at the same level as like a Repulsor Executioner. But it moves 20 inches. So it's kind of crazy. Then on top of that, you add in a strat for -1 to hit, -1 to wound on top of that for 1 CP. Then that thing becomes really freaking durable. All of a sudden, Meltas are wounding on 6s with -1 damage and -1 to hit. You're like, where do we? Yeah. So this thing is, I think it's going to take a little bit of finesse to do well with, but I think you can.
And what's its transport capacity?
It holds 12 and it holds Dreadnought. So you can hold a Dreadnought and 12. So it's good. It's not 14. I wish it was 14 because they can hold Logan, but
But you can put a head taker squad in there with a character. You could put a big gray hunter, or you could put Grey Hunters or Bloodclaw squad in there with a character. You could take any regular Marine stuff in there.
You can take much of anything. You can put Bjorn in there. You can put Murderfang in there. You could put a Brutalis or a Ballistus. You could put a Ballistus in there, then fly 20 inches and just with rapid fire on the Storm Raven. You can rapid fire the Ballistus, but you drop it out and it could shoot.
It doesn't have an assault ramp or anything, right? I know they used to like way back in the day.
No, it does not have an assault ramp. I think
still, you get over there, they can't kill you. Next turn, you jump out and charge with Wolfen and Murderfang, and now the Wolfen have the fight on death because Murderfang's over there. Like, you don't have much OC over there, so you're not like taking the objectives, but You could
Do
put
a
a
lot
problem
of
in their back
damage.
line. Yeah.
That's for sure. So here's the thing. I think in Stormlance, there aren't many damage buffs for non-mounted. So I think you actually don't take a lot of infantry units. There is an argument for 6 head takers with the Wolf Priest. I think there's an argument for 3 head takers just running around in Stormraven as just like a trade piece with dual weapons. But let's continue on. So we've got Stormraven. Oh, by the way, the Stormraven loadout, you take 2 Hurricane Bolters, you take the twin las cannon, and you take the Typhoon missile launcher because those are 48-inch range. And you get rapid fire within 24 instead of within 18 or 9. So twin las cannon, Typhoon missile launcher. And that gives you like 8 or 9 multi-damage shots at 24 inches, plus all those Hurricane Bolters.
All right.
So let's continue on. Let's do some home field and 3 Assault Centurions and a Brutalis. Assault Centurions slap. They hit.
There's still room for 3 head takers, he says.
Yeah, you could do. Yeah, actually, you could. I mean, 3 Assault Centurions do really good, and they shoot hard. They hit hard.
And that's their biggest problem is getting places. So now you have a delivery system and advance and charge once they're there.
Yeah, same thing with Brutalis. It has kind of a hard time getting into combat, but if you can transport it and move it 20 inches up and then disembark next turn and go charge, like it will mess some people up. Tank shock, then Brutalis, Mortals, then swing. Stormraven is just fun, man. It's just fun.
Yeah, it opens all sorts of options.
So let's take Intercessors for the home. They're good in Stormlance. They could advance, shoot, and charge because they have assault on their guns. They're just a good unit. I think you take a scout squad and you take a combi lieutenant. And we can switch these up later on. But a scout squad and a combi lieutenant.
All right. I'll be so happy when I can do this on in 3 weeks when I can do this on New Recruit. It's actually designed for the computer.
Yeah, exactly. Combi lieutenant's always good, adds a little bit of damage, and having his reactive move and another unit with reactive move can really mess with your opponent's game plan. And then other units that are good in Stormlance are units that don't need damage buffs but would love movement buffs. So what I do is I take 2 10-man Wolfen with Storm Shields because those units, they hit like a truck into monsters and vehicles, and they hit pretty damn hard into everything else. They're durable, but they love advance and charge and fall back and charge. And they already roll 1s to hit, so they don't even need Oath. 2 10-man with Storm Shields, they're so obnoxious.
You run them with the Totem, probably?
Totem for sure.
All right, we'll leave this how it is. It says launcher here, but Totem, unless you give them the character for the rerolls, Totem's the way to go.
Absolutely Totem. Trent's asking, do you guys have any experience with Ragnar leading head takers? Looking to take them in Beast Slayer lists for premium advance and charge threat, shields, or paired weapons.
Yes, I take him in most of my lists, and I like them with the shields. I find Ragnar hits so hard that if you run the paired, they normally just have leftover attacks at the end, and then they die a little quicker than I want them to without the invul. Whereas on the rare occasion where they don't have enough attacks to kill something, keeping them alive is more valuable, I find, because now you keep them there as a threat longer. And with a 4 invul, they're tanking shots that they really want to put into your Terminators or your tanks, so any shot they eat up with their 4 invul is stuff that they're not putting into your other assets.
Yeah, quite powerful. I mean, in any list, but especially Beast Slayer, when you get lethals and +1 to wound, that unit will just destroy things. I think in my opinion, you take shields because you have the damage buffs from Beast Slayer. You want the durability buffs.
Yep.
So we have 110 points left over. Here's what I ran last game. I ran 3 head takers and 3 hunting wolves, and I put the 3 head takers in Stormraven. And 3 hunting wolves were just to screen. They were just to do actions. They were just to kind of take up space. I love that little 25-point unit.
Oh, yeah.
But I also have the option of taking a third 3-man Thunderwolf squad and then maybe upgrading the scouts to Incursors to get +1 to hit on my shooting. But either way, it's a totally totally fine. Unless you had takers and 3-man hunting wolves, just to switch it up a little bit.
All right.
With paired weapons for sure, because they
Yeah,
need
it's
the
a 3-man. Yeah, with a 3-man, yeah, because you're not going for survivability if you're just running a 3-man. So the extra attacks is the way to go on a 3-man.
Yeah, and so Stormlance, you can lean into all 4 Binvolns, all melee, like max Thunderwolves, max Wolfen.
Yeah.
I think that'll just roll over some opponents, but it has a pretty hard counter to like really good screening armies.
Yeah.
And armies that shoot pretty hard with good screens.
Yeah.
Guard, maybe, Drukhari. Also other melee, like Blood Angels that can just chew through squads at a time. The benefit to this version of Stormlance, where you have a little bit of a good amount of shooting, you have like 600, 700 points of shooting. You can just throw your melee and durable units into the middle, just tie everything up, kill everything you can, touch everything else, and then just shoot and shoot and shoot all game. And your opponent's got to deal with all these Thunderwolves and Wolfen and Terminators in their face. They're not able to deal with the Predators and the Stormraven that are all rapid firing, getting Oath, just moving and just killing things that are taking up space. So I'm currently 6-0 with this list. I've kind of iterated. I've only taken the Stormraven for 1 game, but it has been pretty oppressive to some opponents to deal with this amount of durability and movement. So Dwarham's asking, what do you think about the ATV in the list to protect the Thunderwolves with his Outrider escort ability? ATVs are really good in Stormlance, and they're just decent in general.
Yeah, I almost mentioned that when you said you had the 110 left. You could have taken squad of Fenrisians in the ATV. I've run the ATV even when I don't have Thunderwolves, just because for 60 points, T5 8 wounds. That's a little skirmish action thing that takes more to kill than people really want to put into it most of the time.
Exactly, especially with minus 1 hit and wound. Your opponent can't just poke one vehicle out to shoot it.
Yeah.
Protect the Thunderwolves with the Outrider escort. So that ATV doesn't necessarily do any damage when it shoots because it has 2 twin bolt rifles at AP1 and it has a multi-melta or a Gatling cannon. You don't get any rerolls unless you oath something that shoots at your Thunderwolves. At most, you would probably take a multi-melta and if just threaten, hey, don't shoot at the Thunderwolves with anything that doesn't want to take 1 multi-melta. Yeah. At the end of the day, I think people will still probably shoot the Thunderwolves if they want to. But an ATV is still a really good unit. It's just really solid. Skirmisher, cheap, durable, fast. It does what you want it to do.
All right, so quick review of your list. We got Logan. Oops. Going with 5 Termies. Oh, why does this want to scroll? We got Iron Priest and a Combi Lieutenant. There it goes. So Iron Priest above the vehicles. 1 Intercessor, stick your home, do actions and stuff. Scouts, same thing, infiltrate, scout move up, down. Really versatile. Head takers with wolves. The takers you're putting in the Stormlance or the Stormraven to threaten the other side while you're over there. Get into something. If they leave something cheap on their home, they got to actually worry about you dropping. They have to leave something beefy back there to protect their 10 cultists or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the wolves, just screening, blocking out, just being annoying. That's what they do. Termies keep Logan alive. 2 Wolfen Storm Shield units, which in an advanced and charge detachment is just pretty dang solid.
So good.
Yeah. Because, they just killed most stuff they hit. Maybe not a horde. Horde's what would give them problems, but any big stuff, they just slap.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you got 6 Thunderwolves and 3 Thunderwolves, which 7 attacks each. That's what clears out all your little screens and hordes, so hopefully your Wolfen don't have to worry about it coming in behind.
Yeah.
And then 2 Predators and your Stormraven. Predators are just freaking amazing with Iron Priest right now. And so Stormraven, being able to go over and threaten the other side, give it rapid fire the first turn when you shoot it out, and then have a little unit in it to threaten over there. Like you said, you can give it -1 to hit and be hit and wounded. That can be real annoying for people. Yeah,
so far I've had a lot of fun with this. It shoots really hard. It moves really fast. It hits pretty damn hard. It's really durable. It just is what you want out of a really good Warhammer list.
Yeah. All right, so we're running up on almost 50 minutes. I know you had a hard out this tonight, so you want to try to squeeze in another list in like 10 minutes, or just that's probably good?
Let's ask the chat to see if they want to look at any other detachments, write a list for another detachment, or just have any questions.
Yeah, because we got Hunter, Beast Slayer, Gladius, Ironstorm, all which could be big. I'd really like to give them the 20, 25 minutes we gave the other one, so I wouldn't like to cram one of those in there, but Librarius, Anvil, or Champions of Fenris, we could try to throw a quick list together, but I'll probably do something on those later in the week because I'm not going to waste Aiden's time building lists for those. I'm going to do it just so we have a build for every detachment, but those I don't really think are super strong. But so that means, yeah, any other questions, any thoughts for new wolves coming? Any questions about old wolves? Because we still got about 3 weeks of them being the only legal thing. They're what I have to take to ATC, so that's what I'm getting games in with right now. Anything from the chat?
You guys are good on detachments.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. How are you, like, what are you thinking for old wolves? You've got to play them to ATC. I'm sure some people in the chat or some people watching will still be playing them until the legal date we can play new wolves. So what are you thinking in terms of what you're going to bring for old wolves?
All right. So I was running it for a while all over the channel. I was running my Canis Rex with Thunderwolf build, which was 3 3-man units of Thunderwolves, all with a battle leader, one with Herald, and that battle leader had the Black Death, one with a Wolf Lord with double Lightning Claw, one with Logan on sled. Then Canis Rex, I had Infiltrators, Scouts, Ragnar in a squad of Blade Guard and an Impulsor. And that was the core of the list. There may have been one or more other little units in there. But going to teams, someone on our team's already running Knights, so I had to drop Canis Rex. So I needed to fill the hole he was in. So what I ended up taking is, right now what I'm taking is 2 Predator Annihilators and a Ballistus. And then with those extra points, I used to have an ATV in the list. With the extra points I've gotten, the ATV became a second Infiltrator squad because we're teching me into be anti-6-inch deep strike play.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of 6-inch deep strike armies somehow popping up.
Yeah. So I'm building into that, and I'm running Champions of Rust just because I like the damage output in that as opposed to Stormlance and stuff.
Trent's saying, do you guys run the 10-man Wolf Touch, Wolfenbrick, and Beast Slayer? If I was running Beast Slayer, I absolutely would. That unit just murders everything.
Yeah, I haven't put it on the table yet, but I've been playing around with it. Yeah, I think that is really, really solid, especially if you run multiple Wolfen units, because now he's giving the 12-inch bubble to the units coming up with them. So yeah, I definitely think there's play in there. My Wolfen units are lacking because they haven't been that good, in my opinion, since like end of 8th edition. So I actually have to rebuild up my stock of Wolfen, but I'll definitely get some on the table at some point.
I'm kind of in the same way. I built Wolfen, and I found that I didn't really like their play style before, but now I'm like, oh, wow, they're actually kind of good on their own now. They were good before, but I like how they play now, where they do a lot of damage.
Well, they always did damage, but before there was really no way to give them OC. Left less than Champions of Rust, and then that was in rare scenarios. So now you just attach a character to them or just have a character move near them, and now they can hold the objective or do like. So now that they have a little more versatility to them on top of just being damage dealers, I really, really like that.
Mm-hmm. Mike Han is saying Saga the Hunter he might want to see.
Yes, we're going to get to that, but Aiden's got to be out hard tonight at a set cutoff, so I don't want... Hunter, I think, has some really good plays in it, so I don't want to rush through it. I want to give it the time it deserves, so that might be one of the ones we get in the next week. We got Hunter, Beast Slayer, Gladius, Ironstorm. So we'll probably do the same thing next week. 1 Saga, 1 core rulebook 1, and then do the same thing the next week. And then that'll lead us right up into Wolves being actually legal. And so by then we'll have a list on every detachment in time for them being able to go to events.
And then at the end of all this, we will rank all the detachments for Wolves. We'll have a tier list of what are the best Wolf detachments. you can run. Out of all 12, we have a lot of detachments to run, which is kind of amazing.
I'm going to put my outside bet on Champions Defenders coming in at number 1.
Number 1, Champions of oh my gosh. Ugh. I would rather
I'm going to find a way to make it be an okay build.
Well, I mean, you think about Terminators having +1 OC, just base, that kind of solves half the problem. Being able to heroic 3 for the Wolfguard Terminator is pretty decent.
Yeah, you know how I'm going to make that an okay detachment? 2 Iron Priests and Space Wolf data sheets. Rules don't matter. It's at least an okay detachment, even with no detachment rules.
There you go. Exactly.
So as our data sheets, especially the Iron Priest and the tanks, is good in any detachment.
Yes.
Like even if they're hey, nobody gets detachments, you only get your data sheet rules from now on. Space Wolves would still build good lists.
Yeah. Ooh, Trent's got a really good question for us. So, what is your preference of head for the new Wolf Priest model? I'll let you go first.
Well, I built mine with the. Well, I got two boxes. So I built one with the wolf head with the call, and the other with the. I think it's like an eye patch thing. But the best head is not. I didn't put on them. I put it because I'm custom building my own Logan Grimnar for my custom chapter, so I didn't want to use the real Logan head. So I took the best head, the old gnarly looking, angry looking wolf priest head with the freaking beard, and put that on my custom Logan. So I didn't want to use that on my wolf priest as well. But that's the best head, but I used it for a different model.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite is the one with the big beard. But I only did that because the other one with the hood, the wolf mask, is so cool. I used it for my custom Iron Priest. So he's got this hooded like wolf. It works so well. And even that third head is kind of growing on me too, with like the mutton chops and like the shaved head and like it's pretty sick.
Do you know what I just thought of? You're talking about the cowled head and everything. Custom combi lieutenant because he's all Phobos and stuff.
Oh, that'd be so sick. Oh man, that'd be so sick.
And that's your unkillable stand-up guy. Now he looks like a badass too.
He looks like a badass too.
I had 2 boxes. I got another head. All right, that might be a project.
Yeah, Dakota is saying Wolf Priest and Terminator armor makes the Champions of Fenrir viable. Oh my god, that would be so amazing. Stand back up +1 to wound on a Terminator unit. Then you can take enhancements. Gosh, that would be so good.
Yeah, I wish we had a Wolf Priest and Terminator armor that could join Terminators and bring a Terminator back.
Yeah, wow, that would be
+1. You imagine Wolfguard Terminators was +1 to wound and bring any model back?
I would be so happy. Oh my!
Sorry,
God.
Arjac. I love Arjac, but that'd be a swap right there for my second Terminator squad.
Yes, Dwarm saying he's got 2 boxes. Shout out to everyone that has 2 boxes. That's awesome. He's going to use the spare heads. Use the mask one for custom Iron Priest too. It fits so well with the Iron Priest. Like the wolf skull. The previous Iron Priest looks cool. He's got like the wolf helmet. It just kind of leans more into the aesthetic.
Yeah, you got to send Aiden royalties every time you put that on the table.
Oh, I just painted my Iron Priest up. I gotta post it. I gotta show some photos. It's pretty cool. Pretty proud of it.
Yeah, I'm halfway through my Logan. Yeah, once I get done, we'll have to show some photos of the stuff we're working on. Yours will look better than mine, but I'm actually putting more time into him than I normally do.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that being said, any last questions before we roll on out of here? All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Once again, we had like 10 to 15 people in here most of the night. I know not everybody talks, but it's just good to have you guys in here. That way Aiden and I aren't just in here talking to ourselves, but not that would stop us, but
we would still keep going. But we're glad you all joined us. Really fun talking Wolves. I'm so excited for the release.
Yep. Now we have a set date, the 12th, coming up. So I'm happy for it. I'll be at ATC when everything drops, but I'll have my local store hold the boxes for me till I get back. All right. Well, thank you guys, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for watching Almost Functional Gaming. We appreciate the support of all followers of Russ and the Allfather. Please like, share, and subscribe. Also, check out our merch store and Almost Functional Score Tracker on Amazon. Everything helps support the growth of this channel, and we appreciate it.